So the scenario that we are going to discuss in this video is related to something which is my personal favorite, that is root cause analysis. So root cause analysis is a technique that I often mention in my classes, and I make this comment as well that if you know the root cause analysis mechanism and if you know how to apply it well, like step by step, then almost 70 to 80% of the exam questions can easily be tackled, because one way or the other, the exam talks about a situation, like a situation which has already occurred and demands a workaround, or a situation which is prospective in nature, like a risk or risk in threat or opportunity form, and it demands your ahead of time root cause analysis so that you could come up with a proper response plan. So let's begin with this scenario, and I'm going to read it out first. Then I'm going to talk about the option choices, and then I'm going to talk about the correct answer. Situation says that a project manager notices that a project is not running well and deliverables are falling behind. What is the first step the project manager should take in order to make a decision on how to progress with the project? A, identify the problem. B, brainstorm solutions. C, establish a measurement criteria. And D, know the reasons. So before I talk about this scenario, let me talk about the root cause analysis technique first and how it works. So root cause analysis, in my opinion, is a four-step process. A, know the problem or the risky situation. Like until and unless you identify and know that problem, you can't proceed with the solution, right? The step number 2 is know your reasons. Know your reason is the necessary step to get to know the root cause of the problem. So knowing the reason, mapping it or matching it against the available data, and tracking sheets and dashboards and different other mechanisms to understand that if you are making any false assumption about those reasons, and then get into the root cause, right? So knowing the reasons, understanding that which reason is actually the reason, and doing that in iterative cycle, like maybe using the 5 why analysis mechanism or so, or maybe you can just apply the cause and effect diagram, whatever works for you. But one way or the other, you should be knowing the reason and you should be getting to the root cause of the problem. Then step number 3 is understanding the impact of that different root causes, which is actually causing that situation, right? That we have identified in step number 1, which means understanding the impact on scope, schedule, budget, resources, overall project objectives, benefits, this, that, everything, like the different areas of project, how those can get impacted because of that situation, issue, or risky situation, or the reasons that you have identified for that. And the final step, the step number 4, is coming up with the right action step in a preventive action form or a corrective action form, which is also termed as workaround, depending on your reasons, the impact, and the severity of that situation. Right? So if you know these 4 steps and you know how to apply it, and you know that in a scenario at which step you are standing, you will actually get many questions right in the exam. Now let's talk about this particular situation. A project manager notices that a project is not running well and deliverables are falling behind. So this is clearly a problem at hand. Right? What is the first step the project manager should take in order to make a decision on how to progress with the project? The next line is asking about what should be the project manager doing to deal with the situation. So clearly the question is asking about the final step, the action step, but the question is actually talking about the very first thing to do to get to the action step, right? So the first thing to do is to know that you have a problem, identify that, qualify that in the issue log, because this is an issue, this is a problem, this is not a risk, this is like something which has already occurred or a damage that has already been caused. So the first and the foremost thing is to realize that something has happened, to accept that there is a problem, to qualify that as an issue in the issue register or issue log, however you call it. So we know the answer. The answer is A, identify the problem. know your problem, understand your problem, right? The second step would be option number D. Know the reasons, understand the reasons, come up with the possible reasons, the reason or the causes category, and maybe break it down into further subcategories, and then rule out different categories to get to know that which category actually applies to the problem situation. I mean, there's a whole process for that. This is the same process as we know with the name cause and effect diagram or Ishikawa diagram, or generally the application of root cause analysis. Then the next step is establishing a measurement criteria, which is the same thing as understanding the impact analysis, because impact analysis usually is not done qualitatively. Usually could be done qualitatively as well, just to get an like a high level idea about the situation. But the more tangible or a more I would say concrete idea would be understood when you have some KPIs and measurement criteria available with you in the form of tracking sheet and reports and dashboards and this and that, right? So C is going to be like the same thing as step number 3 of root cause analysis or the impact analysis, understanding the impact analysis of that situation and the reasons which are causing that. And then the step number 4 is actually the option B. So if I have to solve this situation discussed in the question by applying root cause analysis, I would say that I would first do A, which is the right answer to this question as well. Then I will do D, then I will do C, and then I will do B. And this way I will be solving this problem by applying the root cause analysis. I hope you like this explanation. I will be back very soon with a new PMP scenario. Don't forget to share your opinion, your feedback, your comments, and any follow-up queries in the comment section. I will be waiting. Take care.